Okay, morning guys. Right, this is writing week for an innovation week for our Rosie Revere story. Okay, so up to now you have got the you know the story really well. Some of you know the story so well you're bored of it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're not actually going to write the Rosie Revere story. We're going to change it. So we're going to do something called innovate it. Innovate means we just make little changes to some of the things in the story and then we can make it our own. Okay, so what you're going to need is first of all, you're going to need today's sheet, which for English, which is the one which has loads of boxes in it. It has new characters, new inventions on. But then you are also going to need your story map and probably, if you've got some little scrap bits of paper that you can stick over your story map. Okay, because that's how we do it. And I know it's a lot easier to do it in class than it is to do it at home, but I want you to try your best. Okay, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Don't worry. As long as you've got your changes sheet completed, you'll be able to do the writing. Okay, so we're going to change the main character and we're going to put some adjectives to describe them. We're going to come up with some new inventions. We're going to change some other characters and we're going to see what we can do to change the ending of the story as well. Okay, so I've split so that I can do it nice and big for you, I have split my sheet up into 3 separate parts. So here we have the main character, and it says main character was Rosie. And then we had the invention number 1, which was the helium pants. So we're going to change those things. So you could very simply just make Rose a boy. Okay? It's completely and utterly up to you how you do it. Okay, you can just make him into a boy. You could make Rosie into a princess if you wanted to. Okay, try and stick with human characters. Before we've had children who wanted to make their main characters rabbits and things like this. Okay, right, well mine is going to be a pirate. Okay, so what I'm going to do is draw a very simple picture first of all. That's my pirate hat and my skull and crossbones. Then it's going to be a boy. He's going to have an eye patch. Like that. He's going to have a wicked grin on his face. And he's going to be in a t-shirt that looks a bit like this. And he's going to hold a cutlass in that hand. Okay. And he's going to have a little pretend hook on that hand. Okay, and then that's my pirate. He's going to have a little pirate t-shirt there. And that's my pirate. That's it. Okay. Then we want to come up with some adjectives. Okay. So I've already said that he's going to have a pretend hook. So I'm going to write that in here because I can use that in my story when I come to write it tomorrow. Pretend hook. Okay, and then I want some adjectives to describe my pirate. So he is a naughty pirate. Naughty is a bit of a tricky word to spell, so he's a naughty pirate. Okay, what else? He's got a pretend hook. He's naughty. He is. He's quite young. Still. Okay, he hasn't got a peg leg, he's got a wooden cutlass, so I'm just adding some extra. I don't even need to put all this stuff in my story, I'm just trying to kind of create a picture of what he's going to be like. So he's got a wooden cutlass, okay, and he wears a paper hat. So he's not a real pirate, but he pretends to be one. He's got a paper hat on. And that's simple as that. But he still makes inventions. Okay, now he is a pirate, so I want my inventions to be a little bit like a pirate. So this, he is going to make a double cannon for somebody. Okay, so here's my cannon. And he's going to be a double cannon. Okay, and then there's the big wheel there, so it can be moved around. Another little wheel there. There's the firing bit, and then we've got some cannonballs there. And just in case I forget what it is tomorrow, I'm going to call it a funny name. So I'm going to call it the double shot cannon. Cannon is spelled with two N's in the middle. So a double shot cannon. So it is made of, so it is long. Okay. It has wooden giant wooden wheels. Okay, so I want you to use your imagination. Okay, you can pause it at any time. So if you haven't done your main character already, pause it and go back and complete that off. To complete the main character, nice simple picture with some adjectives. And then what did they make first? So this one is a double shot cannon. It's got giant, it's really long with giant wooden wheels. Okay, and who did they make it for? Let's add some extra. So it was made for Grandad. Let's think of a funny name for Grandad. Grandad Black Boots. For his new ship. So Grandad Black Boots. And I can add this into my story later on if I want to. Okay, so pause the video here and fill in your pictures, and then unpause the video and we'll do the next bit of the sheet as well. Okay, so pause now. Okay, so now you've got a main character, hopefully with some adjectives, and then you've got a first invention. So we've changed helium pants and I've changed it to the double shot cannon. Okay, the invention number 2 was the cheese hat. Okay, so what did they have instead? So this is going to, my second invention is going to be something that can go also on. So I'm going to have a self-driving wheel. So it can steer itself, like self-drive. So here we go, here's my wheel for my ship. And then here, kind of like a little sat-nav camera type thing. A little screen that shows where they're going. So here's like the route on it. And what could we call this? We could call it the... I can't even think of a name. Right, it'll come to me. So here we've got our little, we've got a computer. Okay, we've got a steering wheel. And who's it for? So this is again for Grandad Black Boots. Grandad Black Boots. You are not allowed to copy any of my ideas. These have got to be your own. So please don't just copy mine. Grandad Black Boots is ship. Okay, and I'll show you how we're going to put that into our story map in a bit. So this is our visitor now. So in the story, it was the great aunt. Okay, we need a visitor from this one. So this is going to be, he's not going to be, I don't want Grandad Black Boots because he will have come in at the beginning. So we're going to have, who could we have? Uncle, great aunt, and they probably built some kind of ship. That's what we're going to do. So they're going to build a new ship. But who could they be? So we've got what have we got? Let's have somebody who used to be a pirate but's not anymore. So we've got, I think they're going to be in some kind of wheelchair. And it, of course, because it's a pirate wheelchair, it's going to have a mast on it with some sails. And then a rudder coming out the back. Obviously, I haven't even put the person in here yet. This is going to be that's that boy. That's the legs coming over the side. This is going to be Granny. So this is Granny Cutlass, I think. She used to be a pirate, but she's not anymore. Okay, so we've got Granny Cutlass in her wheelchair with her sails. Again, you can think of anything. Use your imagination. Okay, so we've already talked. I want her to build a new ship. So we've got this ship here. Now the thing about this ship is it can also, because in the story although Granny Cutlass was able to sail the ship, she still wants to be able to fly. So we're going to have a flying boat. And there's its mast with the sail coming down and a bit of rigging. Maybe we could have the double-barreled cannon on here somewhere. Maybe it could use cannon power, maybe, or let's go back for the steering wheel. It's got the steering wheel on here. It's got the steering wheel. I can't think of a really cool name for it yet, but I will think of it. So there's our boat, and what happens at the end? So I would say that they managed to get it to fly, and here are some clouds to show that the ship is flying, and our pirate is going to be dangling from there. I quite like that. So I'm not sure how that's going to fit into the ending, but that's my idea. Okay, so now what we need to do, in fact, let's go back. I want you to, hopefully you've paused it in different, I forgot to ask you to pause it after invention number 2 and the new great-great-aunt character. But go through, rewind the video if you need to, but go through and fill in these bits. Because now what you're going to do is you're going to need to put it into this story map that you've already got. So what I did was I stuck some bits of paper over all the bits I was going to change. So here I no longer have Rosie. She still wants to be a great engineer, but we haven't got Rosie anymore. She still lives in Blue River Creek. I haven't changed any of this. Maybe talk about the fact she's going to live on a boat in Blue River Creek. She goes to the classroom, she's shy. Without looking, she finds things for engineer's stack. Up in the attic, she makes gadgets and gizmos. So we can do a new picture for gizmos. And then here we've got when she was small, or when he was small, he made, and there's your first 2 inventions. Uncle Fred laughed and laughed and laughed until he cried. Your character was embarrassed. Years later, one autumn day, who turns up? They told them what they used to build, and they flew. You had an idea, didn't sleep, worked all night, and here's the new ship. It did fly. It wanted it to fly, turned on the switch, and it flew for a second, but then it crashed. The aunt laughed, so we've got to change that person. So I'm not going to be a great engineer. Gave her a hug, and hooray, and it flew. So we could add our bit on here about what actually happened at the end. The next day, they worked all day until the sun went down, had a beaming smile from ear to ear, I'm going to be a great engineer. And then finally in the classroom, Blue River Creek, the excited children made gadgets and gizmos. So there's actually nothing being changed for the ending there. What you could do is add a little bit onto there for the ending. So we're going to go through this now and fill it in. So I haven't got Rosie anymore. I've got my pirate. So I'm just going to give him a patch. There's my pirate. Wanted to be a great engineer. Lived on a boat in Blue River Creek. Went to the classroom. Was too shy to speak. Looking at engineer stash. Made some gadgets and gizmos. So I'm going to put in here a picture of like an oar. And then we want to go, so we want to use our adjectives. So I'm going to flip back. So we've got the naughty, so naughty pirate wanted to be a great engineer. Lived in a boat in Blue River Creek, a canal boat. Blue River Creek, classroom, none of that's changed. Some gadgets and gizmos, some awesome. I'm going to change you could change the adjective. I'm going to put awesome in here. When the pirate was small, so we're going to the pirate now. So pause it and fill in your bits if you need to. Here's my pirate again. When the pirate went, I haven't given him a name yet, was small, he made, and we need to go back and have a look. So first of all, he made a double cannon, and then he made the steering wheel. So those are the bits I'm going to fit in there. So he made the double cannon. So I'm going to write cannon under here. I'm sure that's not spelled right. Cannon under there. Talk about an adjective for it in a minute, and then the steering wheel. So I'm just going to do a really quick steering wheel here. And then we're going to put the steering wheel. Uncle Fred laughed and laughed and laughed till he cried. You could change that. We could change that to black boots if we wanted to. The pirate was embarrassed. So we've got our pirate. was our pirate was embarrassed. So pause it now and go through these bits. Or we need an adjective for the cannon. So the oh, I can't even think. When he was small, he made a double cannon and a self-steering wheel. So pause it now, fill in your bits, and then we'll move on to the problem. Okay, pause now. Okay, so we're going to keep the same time connective. So we still got Once Upon a Time and Years Later. Autumn day, we've got Granny appeared. So there's my wheelchair. Okay, told you used to build, or used to be a pirate, used to build pirate ships, but she really wants to fly. My pirate had an idea, didn't sleep, worked all into the night. They took the boat out, flying boat, out to see if it would fly. He flipped the switch, and for a second it flied, but then it crashed. Here's your granny. Where's my granny? Granny laughed and laughed and laughed. No, I will not be a great engineer. She gave him a hug. Hooray, your first one. It flew. Right, the very next day we've got Granny. And our pirate guy, who I haven't given a name to yet. Maybe I'll come up with a name ready for tomorrow. Worked all day until the sun came down. Okay, the pirate had a beaming smile on his face. Had a beaming smile on his face. I'm not changing any of these other words. Any smile from ear to ear. I will be a great engineer. Finally in the classroom, and here we could say that they did make it fly, and he was floating from the bottom. But that's not important. And then finally in the classroom at Blue River Creek, the excited children made some funny gadgets and some awesome gizmos. They cheered, but none so proudly as our pirate guy. Okay, that's my story now. So when it comes to tomorrow, I'm going to need this. I'm going to need this story map in order to write my story. So I want you to come up with your own ideas, and you can either go straight onto this, but if you haven't got any bits of paper to stick on to your story map, then don't worry, just work with both your changes sheet and your story map together so you can see where we need to put the new bits in. Okay, it will be tricky. This is the first time we've ever done anything quite as big as this, but I know you guys can do it at home just like we can do it in school. Okay, so give today a go, and then tomorrow we're going to start writing the story using our toolkits.